Hello, and welcome to another episode. I've given up on numbers, and I've given up on the Nerdy Ducks podcast part of the episodes, and I just talk about whatever I want now. And I have failed miserably at keeping up with the shows. I try, okay? I try. But today is not something I have to keep up with, and since I've recently discovered on YouTube, you can schedule videos. I'm really excited about this aspect because that means I can film a whole bunch in a day, upload them, and schedule them for like a week or two in advance, and that's great. So, wonderful news there. But today I thought I would share some of my favorite artists. When I go to cons, that's one of the first things I look for is artists. I like Artist Alley the best of most cons. I can't say I've been in many panels that I've really enjoyed. But Artist Alley is what I've always loved about cons. Particularly in MegaCon, where it's like huge, and there's so many people, and so many different artists, and different venues, and so many kinds of things to see and touch. And I don't know if you're allowed to touch anymore, but so many different things. And I always like to buy a piece of art when I go to a con, and usually a Pop Funko. But you know, that's just me. At the last con I went to, I did not get a Pop Funko because their prices were horrible. But I did get a little plushie. But that's not the point, because I didn't get any art last time because the artist I was hoping would be there was not. And they didn't really have many artists there last time. That was really disappointing to me because I love buying art at cons. I do buy some online, like at Etsy or on Redbubble. You could also get them on TeePublic, like my shirt. It's from Brandon Kinney. You can find it on TeePublic. I do buy things like that on occasion. And once I got a commissioned piece of artwork off at Instagram. So, you know, there's lots of ways to get indie art. You know, like social media, like I just said, Instagram, Facebook. And there's many websites. Some artists have their own websites. Many do not. Many sell through places like Etsy. But there are a lot of them out there. And most are not too terribly expensive for the prints. Now, if you want original pieces of art, those are generally rather expensive. I did get a commissioned piece once from Instagram. I think it was $20, I think. It was a pretty cool little piece, a collage. But I think I've posted about it on Instagram. And if you hold on a second, I'll go get it. Alright, I'm back. I don't know why I didn't decide to put this in my stack of art over here, but I did not. I got this from Into a Larger World by Cara. You can find her on Instagram. She publishes her own Star Wars fanzine. I think it publishes 4 times a year. As you can see, it's a little collage. She does it with, I think, old magazines and newspapers and old photographs and anything else you might find that's pretty cool. And I got to pick who I wanted, and she did the rest. I think it's pretty neat. I keep it on the wall, obviously, because it's in a frame. But sometimes I don't. I have like 4 posters that need hung, and I have not hung them. I need to rearrange everything and make room for new art. I have only so much wall space and too much art. But then, one of the artists I've always looked for whenever I go to a con, hold on, is Krivac. Did I say that right? I don't know. It's Krivac. And this is one of the first pieces I purchased from him. As you can tell, it's Bucky Barnes. And I do have several of his pieces. I have a couple of the Groot ones hanging in my bathroom. I kind of had planned to do a whole bathroom theme around them. And then my brother moved back. He doesn't like the idea of a yellow and green bathroom with daisies. And I don't know why. But anyway, this is one of the first pieces I bought from Greg. And whenever I go to a local con, he's one of the first people I look for. He's awesome there. He wasn't at the last one, but a lot of people weren't because it's one of the first cons held during a pandemic. And so I think a lot of artists were kind of leery about being in such an environment, and I can understand that. But I really like Greg's work. I will say I don't really like some of the things he draws of women, but that's just my opinion. And I think a lot of them are very popular. I just don't tend to purchase women in bikinis, which I say that, but it's like Leia in the gold bikini, you know, which is a Star Wars scene. It's very iconic, and I can see why an artist would want to draw it, but honestly, a woman in a bikini is not the sort of thing I put on my wall. And honestly, too, that's one things I hate is that scene. And so, I mean, she's in that bikini for like 5 minutes, and then every piece of merchandise from that movie has her in it, and that drives me nuts. But anyway, it's not a bad painting. It's just not my sort of thing. But I think they are on his website. They're about $30 to $35 each. At cons, they're a little bit cheaper, especially if you buy 2 or 3 at a time, like I often do. But they're pretty nice, and they're good sized. I think they're 11 by 17, which is really not that common of a size, and it's a little hard to find frames for it occasionally. But I have discovered Joann's carries them, as does Walmart. And Walmart has pretty good prices on frames. You can get pretty good, decent sized frames for pretty cheap. And I like that. You do have to be careful because the mainstay frames are not as steady as the ones I get from Hobby Lobby. And they tend to break. But I always like to frame my artwork in these plain little black ones. You know, there's no real frame to them. That's how I framed all my pictures as a kid, and it's just how I do it now. As you can see behind me, I don't frame everything. I have some things on light strings. I kind of don't like the light strings because they have battery packs and they're hard to hide, but it'll do for now. All right, so you can check out his work at Krivac.com. He does currently have a sale as of today, March 27th. Buy one, get one. I don't know how long that sale will be going on for. It might just be till the end of March, but worth checking out. So, go ahead. And then we're going to talk about Butternut Gouache, which I'm pretty sure I am pronouncing wrong, but it is how it is spelled. And the artist name also, that's her art name, is Erin Lifler, which I was super excited. She's supposed to be at MegaCon Orlando last year, and then there was no MegaCon Orlando, so I was super disappointed. I am hoping eventually to get to meet her because she has super awesome art, and I would love that. This piece, of course, is from the iconic scene in Endgame, which I'm still in denial that Black Widow is dead. All right. I have not actually taken it out of the plastic yet because I haven't quite gotten framed, which is bad because I've had this for like a year. But I think, no, this was actually on the light strings, so it's safe. If I hang them on the light strings, I keep on their plastic to keep them safe. But this is obviously from Endgame. I really like her artwork. She does many Marvel pieces as well as Star Wars. I think that's mostly what she does. I know at one point she was actually employed by Lucasfilms, so definitely Star Wars there. And this one is just a print, but oh, it's actually been autographed, so that's cool. I don't know if she does that for everyone or what. I've only purchased from her a couple of times. I do really like this piece. I also have a Black Widow and Captain America piece, and so you know, you can kind of see it right there. From Winter Soldier, which while I'm not much of a Romanger fan, I really do like that scene, especially knowing the behind the scenes where it was Scarlett Johansson's idea to kiss him. So I think that's pretty iconic in my mind. And of course then you have this scene, which is also super iconic, and it's such a sad piece, and yet it's also full of hope because I think Natasha knew what would happen, that they would win, but unfortunately she had to sacrifice herself for that. And I think that Erin really conveys that well in the picture. So then we have, I'm missing pieces here. One of my absolute favorites, Cara Hallion, which I have, as you have seen, a lot of her pieces. And when I was just trying to pick just one to show off, because I didn't want to take everything off the wall, I had a hard time because she draws so many of my favorite characters, and I really love her artwork, and so it was really, really hard. So, but I did pick this one. This is Peggy Carter, which is from the Captain America movies as well as Endgame. and as well as her own series. And I really like this painting. My mother had me make it her one too. It says, "I know my value. Anyone else's opinion doesn't really matter," which I think fits Peggy to a T. And I believe that actually is a quote from Peggy. But I didn't really care too much the first season of Peggy Carter until I watched the 7th season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And now I'm going back and rewatching Peggy Carter, which was a pretty good show in its own right. And like everything else Marvel, they decide, hey, that part doesn't matter anymore. But it does. It all connects no matter what they say, all right? It really does. But you can get this piece on her Etsy shop. Oh, and I forgot to mention that Erin Lifler is on Etsy as well. I'm sorry about that. I'm going to put all the links below so you can check them out if you'd like. Now, Karen usually just has prints. You can get them in various sizes. I get a lot of the postcard size prints from my light string, but you can get 8x10s like this. You can get, I think, larger pieces like the Bucky Barnes picture. And on occasion, she'll have actual paintings, but a lot of her work is actually done digitally. If you follow her on Instagram, you can see that. It's pretty cool that she does it all like on an iPad, which I don't really know how that all works. I don't have an iPad, but I do really like her work, so it must be working for her. And she, too, was supposed to be at MegaCon Orlando last year, and I was really excited about that one. But no cons. MegaCon is supposed to be in August, though, so fingers crossed, man. Fingers crossed. But I am really hoping to make that. We'll see. And then this one is actually a rather newish artist to me. I actually found her through looking up Gemma Simmons cosplay, which let me tell you, that girl, she has so many wonderful Gemma Simmons cosplays, including some screen worn pieces, which I don't know how she gets a hold of, but I would love to get a hold of, okay? And so that's actually how I found her initially, was looking up Gemma Simmons cosplay, and then I found out she was also an artist, and of course I had to check out her Redbubble. And now I follow her on Instagram and on Tumblr. She's also a really good fan fiction writer, which I don't know that everyone cares about fan fiction, but I do. It's one of my favorite ways of dealing with crap. And so I do read and write a lot of fan fiction, and judge me if you like. I really don't care. But this piece is Fitzsimmons Through the Years. As you can see, they actually have one from each season. And spoiler alert there if you haven't seen the 7th season, but it's like been aired in August, so I think spoiler alert is over with now. And I really like that piece. You can actually get each portrait individual, but I did not have the space for that, and that'd be pretty cool to have each year by itself. If you have the space, you can also get it printed on t-shirts, on notebooks, on pins, magnets. Redbubble has so much stuff you can print on, and I think that's so cool. I get a lot of her stuff printed on notebooks. I have quite a few of those because I have a notebook addiction, and I love fandoms, so fandoms and notebooks, and one of my favorite couples in Marvel history, so it's pretty good to me. Like, for example, I have their Academy years, which is not actually on this painting here, but I have their Academy years on this notebook here, which is quite similar to, say, the first year of Fitzsimmons, but it's not quite the same because they're several years younger, and I think she draws that quite well. Ignore the fact that it has a black thing on it. I don't know. I used to carry it around my backpack, so God only knows what happened. But, so those are some of my favorite artists. And like I said, you can find them on Etsy, on Redbubble, on TeePublic. You can find them on their own websites, like Greg Krivac. You can find that most of these people on Instagram. You can, I don't know if they have Twitter. I don't do Twitter, so they might have Twitter. Facebook. You can find, I know you can find Stephanie, Eclectic Muses. She's the one who did Fitzsimmons, if I didn't mention that. You can find her work in the Tumblr as well. I do use Tumblr. I know, nobody uses Tumblr anymore, but the fanfiction writers still do. So that's where I am. A lot. But, so those are my favorites. Some of my favorites anyway. And I would love to know, do you have a favorite artist? Let me know. Share some links if you like. I would love to find some new artists. I always love art. And there we go. And remember, please be kind. Being kind is a much better way of getting what you want than being aggressive. All right. Have a good day. Let me know. And you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Tumblr. Have a good one.